Hey guys, happy Saturday. We are in here with Miss Beautiful Jane.
Hi everyone.
Our newest coach. Very interesting. Jane has a really cool story other than she worked on a cruise ship, which is very cool. And she has a very cool accent. Go ahead.
Hello everyone.
See? She's dialing it down for me. No, she has a really unique thing. So obviously we always preach food, right? And with all the medicine out there, with all the different diseases, with all the different things, obviously medicine has its place. But there are times where things can be fixed with simple food because maybe the eating is bad or maybe your body doesn't like a certain thing. And talking to Jane, we ran across some really cool conversations. So I wanted today for her to tell you a little bit about what she went through with her food journey. So
take it away. Hi.
Take it away.
My name is Jane, your new coach here at LunaFit, and a few years ago I was on cruise ships for 11 years and I was a performer and I ended up not being able to perform. I got stiff joints, migraines, all these things that just kept coming along. And
that wasn't from the drinking on the cruise ship.
Definitely not from the drinking. I don't drink, right?
Okay. Just checking.
And then I ended up getting sent home because no one could figure out what was wrong. Went to a doctor and they tried to do the whole medicine route and I didn't really feel comfortable with all of that, so I did a lot of research, got a lot of tests done to find what foods weren't working for me, and I have eliminated a whole lot of foods and changed my whole life and my health through food by removing things like sugars, gluten, certain grains. There's even certain vegetables that my body won't tolerate, so I just take them out and I have been off medication, no medication needed, and a whole new person and much happier.
Now that's pretty extreme, right? Like, I mean, most people don't want to take all the fun stuff out of their diet. Like, I mean, was there something really bad that was happening, or what was the symptoms? What was bad? You said you couldn't perform.
Joint pain was ridiculous. So being a performer, you obviously have to be mobile and supple and have a lot of power and being able to do everything. And I was getting weaker and tireder, and if that's a word, don't think it is.
It is. It is in our cross language.
It's here today, it's a word. And serious migraines and just other health complications that just sprung up out of nowhere and couldn't be explained. And it all was down to inflammation because of eating the wrong things that my body decided it's not going to tolerate.
Okay, so when you got into this, I mean, most people have these small problems, maybe not as extreme as that, but most people have all these small problems. And so for you, you really dug into the research.
Yes.
So what could the average person kind of do? Let's say if you were to kind of look at your most average 4 or 5 things you took out of your diet that were big for inflammation, what would you suggest?
I definitely think you need to look at gluten is a big one for people. Eggs can be. There's sugar is just not good for anyone, but it doesn't mean food has to be boring. You can research and find alternatives. There's monk fruit out there, there's stevia, there's different alcohol sugars that I cannot pronounce. There's a lot of other things that you can change your cooking with, but it just means purchasing food from a shop, fast food is just never a good choice. If you are dealing with inflammation, if you're dealing with people who say, I'm just tired all the time, I promise you it's inflammation. It's just something simple where you've eaten a food where it's just making you tired because your body is now shutting down to process that.
So would you say that you need to trial and error? Because obviously everybody's a little different.
It's trial and error for every single person, but there are replacements for everything. So if you love cake, for example, and you can't deal without cake, and that is I'm never going to stick to this diet because I need chocolate, I need cake, I need cookies, I need brownies, whatever, you can try cassava flour, try coconut flour, try almond flour if you're not allergic to nuts. There's 3 flours that you can still make your cake with. Take the sugar out and replace it with stevia or monk fruit. There's your sweet.
Which even if you don't have inflammation, it's not a bad idea to take all that sugar out of your diet.
Yeah, just take the sugar out and replace it. Take the wheat out. Wheat is not good for people. Shouldn't really be used, but we just use it in everything because it's cheap and easy and created the world we live in. Chocolates, there's sugar-free chocolates out there. You can use normal cocoa powder that's like not full of all the additives. Like, you can still bake, you can still eat good stuff. It just has to be alternative.
So how long did you find, okay, so like obviously this wasn't like a weekend process for you. This was like a, probably
it's still a learning curve. It's always going to be a learning curve. I probably did about a year of research, but just trial and error through the research. Keep going, keep trialing things, and if you don't feel any better, take that out and try something else. And
what would you say were the biggest maybe 3 symptoms that you had then that now are completely gone?
Fatigue was the biggest. Migraines were terrible, and joint pain.
And joint pain.
And stomach
issues.
Which
your stomach issues is huge. I mean, so many people like suffer from stomach issues.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned eggs, you mentioned some other stuff. So there's some stuff in there that maybe, like, I mean, that's a protein we all use for, like, for our daily diet. So, like,
dairy's a bad one for a lot of people. It's fine for some people. I'm not saying you need to remove all these. I'm just saying
They could be some of the problems.
Could be some problems, and trial and error is the only way to figure out, unless you go to a doctor and get all the actual tests.
Yeah. But, and I mean, just kind of to interject, you did do that.
I did, right? At the end. I did I've done 3 years of trial and error and got myself to a good point, but I knew I could be better. I still wasn't me. I wasn't the energy I had. I didn't have that, and I was still having issues. So I did go and get the allergy test and found out a whole lot more information.
Yeah. Which is crazy now, because now you're doing 3-4 videos for us a day. You're teaching 3 classes. Like, yep. Like, I mean, you obviously have more energy than all of us have now. So, which is kind of cool, because so now, I suffer from a lot of stomach issues. So, through speaking with Jane and through us talking, like, there's some things I've taken out of my diet that have been like life-changing. Especially my mornings were terrible because I was always taking down hard-boiled eggs, and I've switched that out of my diet. Obviously, like you said, it works for some people, it doesn't work for others.
Exactly.
But it's made my life totally different, because now I'm not suffering from that issue. So it's like, I think the key is if they're suffering from something, would you say, instead of going straight to medicine, I mean, obviously you have to listen to your doctor. But
first and foremost,
but we don't want any of you, just pulling the switch here. But like, obviously, I think a lot of these things can be adjusted with food, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Things like simple fatigue, if you're not recovering from a workout like you did a year ago, or if you eat a pizza and then you're really tired, or you eat a pizza and you have a headache all of a sudden, there's probably a preservative in there. There's probably just something you can simply take out, and you'll be yourself.
Fine. Yeah.
Back to you.
And I think too is like, this, like, obviously we're all built a little different. So some people have the luxury of being able to eat everything.
Oh, I wish.
Us two are not those people. Mm-mm. But I think if you are suffering from something, there's a good chance, start with the food, right? So if obviously if the doctor prescribes something, he's doing it for a reason, but I think food, it goes in your body every day. You're taking in so much food, you're doing so many things, that to kind of start with the food is probably the cheapest, healthiest start, because now you're not mixing in a bunch of unknowns. You're just playing with the food, which I think is a good start. Food is a
natural medicine. Any supplement that they find out there to create, they created in a lab from food. From food. Or plants, or,
Yeah, from something they've used in the past.
Yeah, something natural.
Looking at Jane, you can see. I mean, she's completely changed her lifestyle with food, and like I said, she has more energy than all of us. So, if you guys have any questions, obviously we deal in food all the time. We're consistently working with people that have issues. Obviously, we work through our issues, which is it's pretty unique because it helps us understand. Like to me, it's actually an awesome thing to have because it helps me understand how bad it can be and how much people suffer. So it gives you a little perspective. And if you're suffering, I would suggest do some research. Look into the foods you're eating, and if you guys need any help, reach out. We're right here. We have a lot of knowledge between our 5 coaches and a lot of different body types, and we've done this with a lot of different people. So enjoy your Saturday, and Saturday is usually the day that you're gonna eat some bad stuff. So pay attention to what you're eating if you wake up tomorrow not feeling good. Guys, I love you. Have a good day.
Bye.